All right. Hmm. How's it going, folks? Sorry, took a little bit to get my stuff started, but we're off to the races now. Let me put that here. Hi, Tabby does not. Okay. Let's see. Okay. What is this? Yes, I know. Oh, Bliam is awake. Bliam a priori. Okay. So, we've got some stuff to do, and can I? Where's my problem with having too many monitors? Is like you just forget where your cursor is. Okay, I probably will bring up the Sylvan notes and probably get a new document as a scratch pad. Okay. Uh, Actually, where's my plans? Yeah, plans for 11/22. So, let me let you guys see what we're on. Yes. Okay. All right. So, today our plans are we're going to coin a name for the overall language, which will be a compromise form. We'll reference our work that we did for the coin A before we decided not to do it. We will coin a name for each of the dialects and coin a term for quote unquote dialect. And we'll the with the idea that this is deliberately sort of a more vague term that I can use so that I'm not constantly calling these dialects because I don't actually know if they're going to be dialects or separate languages. Um, mutual intelligible mutual intelligibility testing is not possible for these varieties. Um, and I mean, in the scenario, I would expect most of the Fae to be um, diglossic. Oh my goodness. It's 1 a.m., Liam? Well, thank you for joining, but yeah, if you do feel like too sleepy, then you go to sleep because I don't want people stay up till 3 a.m. But like, so this will be like something like Prakrit in the Indic languages, or Fangyan in Chinese, is a term that I can borrow and say this is not exactly um, this does not exactly mean dialect. It kind of means some variety of this group, right? Um, but I've one English example as a translation of Fangyan. I've heard there's a linguist that coined a term topolect. That doesn't work for us because these are not, they're not really based on location. They're not based on geography. I mean, kind of are, because that's what the geography of fairy is like, but it's also probably more of a social distinction. Um, if I'm being honest, because time and space are weird anyway. So what should we start with? Why don't we start with thinking about what is the name for Sylvan? And for that, let's actually go back to our Sylvan notes, because I think we did some work on that. Excuse me. I need a cough switch. Let's see. I had a note here somewhere. I never did politeness system. I don't think politeness system is actually going to work out. So where did we have a name? I'm sure we had a name. Okay, so we had a name for Middle Fay. So that's interesting. Bukwasi. Bukwasi for world. Here. And language. Okay. Hikik. Hikik is a fake. So that's interesting. I think we can definitely carry forward this word for tongue to also mean language. Debating whether I want to change its class when it means language. Possibly a decomposer class, because language is like a parasite on your mind or something. Let's see. What happens? I don't want to make it celestial class, because I think that needs to be stuff that's more outside the system. Maybe a soul would be a celestial class. And I might need to change the name of the class if that's the case. Let me see. Let's pull up. And I was doing some work yesterday. Did I ever... So that was... Yeah. I need to make sure I save those properly. I've been working on Luxembourg ahead of time, and I keep finding bugs in my Lexergy stuff. So that's Dawn. Dawn. So, and this should be dusk. Yeah, this is dusk. Oh, during the winter, I start... How Liam, how does that work? So I start around 10 p.m. for you during the winter, but it's November right now, and it's 1 a.m. for you. Oh wait, are you Southern Hemisphere? What do you? I'm confused. That's that's 3 hours difference. Do we have like? Are you in the Southern Hemisphere with opposite daylight savings time or something? Oh, and hi, Limo. Uh, okay, so we have that. Now we are always going to derive all the way from Middle Fay. I have learned how to do stages. Okay, you're in Australia, New South Wales. Okay, so you have daylight savings time in addition. So it is 1:20 a.m. where you are. Okay, so okay, I see. So you're in daylight savings time while I'm in standard time, and you're on the other side of the world. Yeah, that's going to mess things up quite a bit. Sorry about that. I can't. I cannot take into account Australians when I'm scheduling. That's just going to be too crazy. Uh, excuse me. Let me see here. Okay, so what am I? Oh, I know. You see, I have not consumed my tea yet this morning, so I'm a little bit off. Let me get Obsidian up, and I should. So, Chik comes from Elder Sylvan Chiki. I need to figure out how to fix the Chiki. And what I'm going to do, I am going to try. I am going to set a rule for myself that when I'm working with words, I'm going to generate the full paradigm with my spreadsheet here every time, because if I don't do that, then I end up with then then I'm going to end up like not knowing how to decline or conjugate anything, because the sound changes I have generate a lot of irregularity. It's not like Ndakaga was very like Lego block. It was very much just it's going to be what it's going to be. The vowel harmony applies, and the vowel deletion rule applies, and that's about all the changes you got to inflections. But this this language has a lot more complicated sound changes that cause some like weirdness to happen. So let's actually get a full paradigm for tongue. Okay. And I will get the people who have programming experience who would like, okay, I already have a full paradigm for that, so that's fine. Is it correct though? I think I'm gonna actually replace that. This is not the format that I'm using right now anyway. Okay. People who do programming stuff, if you want to make some nice conlanging software, the number one thing I would like, oops, that's a sneak peek. That's a sneak peek of my Luxembourg words. The number one thing I want is someone to help me integrate this thing, some way of defining and automatically generating inflectional paradigms into a sound change applier. That would greatly help me. That would be extremely helpful. And just eliminate a bunch of my copy pasting. Okay. And here's the dawn reflex. He means he for uh he I'm not using these forms. It'll be he ha, and he wa. Okay. Polyglot? Well, I mean, does polyglot do what I want? So it does conjugations and declensions. Does it have a sound change applier built in? Okay, it's a thought. I'm not gonna like try to use a brand new system right this minute because I don't have time to set up my sound changes. Fa. Yeah, I don't see sound changes. It has the Zompus word generator, which I prefer Williams. Romanization, I guess. That's weird. Okay. Oh no. I can think about that, but I think that's a tool. I don't necessarily need it to be a dictionary too. I can move stuff into a dictionary, and I'm fine with that. But anyway, let's. So I made. I. I mean, this is not for another reason. Let me see if I can find this. Um, this is an incidental, like intermediate word that came up. So in another word, I did this irregular. You see the middle sylvan has this hi, right, and it would have been hihived, like hihived or uh hihud, 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 right? Um, hihud. But I decided to arbitrarily just like remove that first syllable, and I'm wondering if I should do that here because it was getting kind of long. He and he for it's not it. So one of the okay, I don't there and I didn't show you this actually. I had it on another monitor, but so showing you this had an initial he, right? So it would have been hehud. Uh, but hehud. And this would be hehud. But there was an extra problem with that one in that this is an H and an X, a ha and a h together. That's a little bit hard to keep distinct. This is kind of a tongue twister. This doesn't have this. This is the same syllable repeated twice. So it's probably okay. I might do an irregular change to say that these two e vowels merge, so it's hihi, hi, hi, hihi, hihi. Instead of hihi, hihi. It's a little difficult to handle that particular hiatus. I could program. But anyway, this would be. This would be. So let's actually record these. So Dawn. This is. Take this. We'll do it as it is for now. And then since I learned how to do this in Lexergy, I can just easily have this. I did have to change from using the diacritic tone marks in Lexergy to using the ones that come after, because Lexergy has a weird problem with acute accents in that it cannot get rid of them. I don't know why that problem exists. But I had problem with that with my Spanish deromanizer, and I've had problems with that with Sylvan. I think. Okay. So we're just gonna say this means tongue for now, as in the actual your physical tongue, right? The body part. Let's say, or say organ. Call it organ. Feels better to call it an organ. And then let's add the dusk word, and it's just gonna mean the same thing. And we'll go back here. Oh, I forgot. This is so this noun class 3 for predator, right? Let's just copy all of that and go back to, and this is going to change. I do kind of like that there's tone differences. Good morning. Yeah, mommy's here. And before we forget, let's get our paradigms here. Oh, I copied too much. Yeah, that's the dusk one. Let's go back to the dawn one and get the paradigm. Now, so dawn. And for this, so I've got to decide whether to go which one's going to be the accusative. For body parts, for the most part, I have actually been going with the locative accusative, because they're not so, like, the tongue does move around a little bit. It just feels kind of animate, but it's also like part of a larger whole that is itself an animate being controlling it. Is that how you spell accusative? Accusative. Why could I not spell accusative right there? And then this row needs to be deleted too. So we'll just do that in both. The same process occurs in both. Also, the locative accusative just sounds better most of the time. Might have to change my idea because the oblique is very unwieldy to pronounce most of the time. Maybe I can do some irregular reduction on the ones that have to be obliques. Excuse me. Let's think about that. Jijifava. Jijifava. That sounds good. Jijifa. Jiji. Jijija. Jiji. And then Dawn, we have Jiji, Jijifor, Jijifor, Jijija, Jijifewa, Jijifewa. And yeah, that sounds pretty good. Now, let's take this. Let's go back here. And I'm gonna say take the same root. I'm just gonna test what does it look like if it's in decomposer. I don't want to copy that ob. These should probably be hidden. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Because I don't need to see that. I don't need to interact with that ever. Okay. So okay, so let's apply changes here. Wow, what? Oh, silly. Those are Elder Sylvan forms. I have to go all the way to the beginning for that. Hihi, hihiab, hihi, hihi, hihiabi, hihiath. Okay, let's see what they look like in the modern dialects. And we'll just apply changes. Hihi, hihia, hihi, hihiaviku, hihia, hihia, hihiera. Okay, let's see. Hihi, hihia, hihiihu, hihiaviku, hihiaihu, hihia, hihiava. Okay, I think. Okay, so I kind of like these forms. So we could probably go with this. It's and let's see how we. Yeah, I think I actually like this. So this is what we have is we'll take this info to copy. We have this note and we have and we need the pronunciation from here. And class 4, I believe. So class 4 is um, decomposers. Yeah, decomposers, parasites, and symbionts. Right. So that I feel like language. I'm not going to make it celestial on top of this. I'm going to actually just leave it as like symbiont because um, they're conceiving of language as a living organism that is in a symbiotic relationship with you, living in your brain, right? Okay, or living in your mind, however they figure it. So this this works for me. I like this idea. Um, it came from Hikik because it's sort of in Middle Fey. It still was very much like a polysemy between tongue and language, and it's only as we branch off into dialects that it changed. In fact, I might I might go and say that in night it's still the same. I have some flexibility to say, okay, maybe in night it's considered the same. Maybe day chose a different class. That that is workable. Um, in fact, I do need to get those forms eventually. Let's let's keep with this. Let's put a pin in that because we really need to get to actually the name of the language. So we have Xihu meaning language, Xihu, and then in dusk is Xihu, Xihu, Xihu versus Xihu. This is and And let's get the and finally let's get the paradigms listed out. And let's start a quick poll. I just want to quick say which form should become the oblique for language, not the accusative. Accusative. Oblique. Okay, I'll just give the singular form. Or locative. And before you vote, I'm just going to tell you guys one thing is this is this is the typical one for animates. This is the typical one for inanimates. So take into account how they sound. Also take into account whether you want language to be considered animate or inanimate. We can think about that. Okay. And we'll see how that works out. The other thing is okay. So do I have? So I need to get the paradigm for this. Wait, did I post the wrong thing? I pasted the wrong thing. No, that's dusk. Okay, I must have switched before I thought I did. Okay. It is really handy that I decided to have these do opposite tones on the stress syllable. I don't know how like realistic it is, but that's oh, okay. People have the people have spoken. That's not actually I was thinking it to be closer than that, but I mean we don't have that many people. Um okay, we can do that. I have decided I decided what numbers we would have a long time ago, King Pengu. I'm not gonna go back and start adding a duel at this point. That part is already decided. I think, did I roll for it? I don't know if I rolled for it or I just decided. Um, so Gigaat, okay. Giga. Now, the question now is, how is this involved? Let's get this is okay. So I already have. I should already have in here the IPA, right? So we have the word for Fae, and we can just go with the language of the Fae. Let's just clear this all out and work just with one thing. Okay. Okay. Fae. Interesting. Fae. File. Fafo. Fae. Fae. Fafe. And we could have Fafa. Fai, Fafa, Fai, Faigigu, Fafugu, Fafugu, Faiga, Fafava. Okay. Okay, so this one, this did not turn out the way I was expecting, but that's cool. So let's get with Dawn and Fai. Let's, for now, let's let's fake. And it's noun, Noun class 3 for predators. Fay, fairy. And then dusk. Failli. And I think we're definitely going to go ahead and use the oblique. Which in this case is not faillihu, faillihu, fafuhu. That sounds pretty cool. And then we'll go ahead and get the dawn version of that. Okay. So let's see. And let's work with they're very similar in both of these words. So we can kind of play with that. So an option would be just the language of the Fae, right? For the overall thing, right? But which if I look at the possessions construction, possessee, classifier, possessor, oblique in middle Fae. I think that in modern Fae, this becomes the accusative form, whichever one that is. So we can think about. So we'd have something like Okay, so we'd have something like Hihi. Hihi. And then what is the classifier? Now let's actually go down to the classifiers, how they language. What classifier would we typically use? I think valuables and names, probably, which for day is ise. We have ise. Is that right? Let me just double check that. Yeah, Dawn. So, yeah, ise and eth. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, so ise. Let's. I think it would just look like that. Make this all bold so that we know what we're doing here. And then it would be, and we'll do the plural. So let's make it normal style. If we have a and let's say if that sort of becomes compounded. Typically, my compounds are, well, actually, so let's see if we get this reduced, we can have like sifa. Let's say, so it would be pretty clear that this whole thing is, it would be, so here's the thing. So what I'm thinking is we have chisifa. With shorten this, it becomes chisifa fa u. Chisifa u. The reason being that it's like, and we could even reduce it further, like it became chisifayu. Chisifayu. No, no, because that is actually chisifayu. So what I'm thinking is like we took this, portmanteauized it with the ise, so we got chise, we added the fa, but took off this part, and then instead added a a decomposer suffix, and then let's pull in the other two dialects. And I want to see what their forms for all four of these things are in order to, for all of these elements are. Well, mainly for the tongue and the thing, so that we can see if this works for all dialects. So let's see. We need to open up two new lexergies. And then we have, not just this, but I want the tongue too. So and I think I'm going to say that this switch to decomposer only occurred in the twilight dialects. The night and day dialects are more conservative, so they keep the eek suffix. So that for them, language is a predator. Import night. Is this the latest night that I have? Okay. Import day. Okay. Apply. Oh, I'm dumb. So dumb. Silly me. I forgot. I always have to start here. Hehe. Hehe hehe fa. Hehe hehe fa. Hehe 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 hehe. That's the same. It's the same. Hehe ha hefe wa. Hefe he. Okay. So this and then the other thing is, okay, ether. So this would be ether. This actually would be different also between dawn and dusk. We'd have chisefau versus chisfau. I think so. I think the compromise form is going to be chisfau. This is actually going to be Chisfau. I think the compromise fa u Chisfau. So this is a candidate. This is a promising candidate for the name of the language. Chisfau. Now, getting the names of these. So let's talk about. Um, so when we talk about the four courts and the four different dialects, I want to incorporate the idea of the moon in there. So if we okay, so if we talk about our our general sort of themes for the four courts, we mentioned that okay, day is the new moon, dawn is the waning moon, dusk is the waxing moon, night is the full moon. So let's actually coin a term for moon and get that in all four dialects and figure out what we're going to call the waning moon, waxing moon, full moon. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to say that like this hise or his or his, the this prefix had became like a prefix that means language, and then we add whatever like whatever the moon thing is. So first of all, moon. What is the word for moon? Let's go get some forms. Grab that. Let's go. We gonna get 10. Let's do 20 so we can have some options. Oh, we've got a lot of P's. I'm not sure if I like P. Yedip. Yupa. Oh. Okay. Okay. So I like Lupa. We haven't had an initial nga. Bell would be a good one. Pew, maybe not. Let's eliminate some. Pio sounds interesting. So that becomes Pew. No. Jif. Nupa. Nupa. I don't like key. I don't like Gika. And so the moon is pretty booba. So we want more booba forms. I don't really think I want this to have had a geminate. Okay. Yajif. I think it's going to be between, I think I'm going to actually say between Nupa and Bell. And let's actually, so this is how this is going to work. So I'm going to create the way that the celestial class works is different. I have not yet, so you'll see I have not yet added celestial, but what we're going to have, it's going to have a base class, and that's going to be the autotroph class. And what we do is, let's see, how can we, and we're going to say, here is our nouns. Noun classes. The celestial gets added on top of that. So this is actually the proto form. Should be is it yeah ping ping. What happened here? Yeah, let's see. Does that do what I'm expecting? Yeah. Okay. So I will, and this should happen before okay. Biltiping versus Lupa Lutaping, and then we'll hit the export on that. And I'm going to show you in all four is day and night. Ja. Okay, so we get like Bilshi Spit Bilshi J or Bilshi Cha uh Bilshi Pie Bilshi Shipya. Or if we go with the other one, we have Ngupa Wu Wufo Shipje. Wufo Shipje. Wufa Ship uh, Wufa Shipcha. Nufo Sipje. Sipje. Nufa Sipcha. I haven't done romanization on those. So, knowing that, let's ask you guys, straight up or down, which is the Fey root for moon? We'll go with the middle Fey root to do it. So is it Bilsipjin or Ngupasipjin? And we'll keep flipping through these so you guys can see how that changes in all four of the dialects. Okay. We've got... Still waiting for people to vote here. Come in with those. Let's see. Okay. Okay, everybody has voted and it came out 50-50, which is understandable. So I think I'm going to actually make an executive decision. And I'm going to say, since we have not had this ng at the beginning yet, and I would like to see some words with that, we're going to go with the ngupa. So that means we need to go through and we go, so we want this, and we want to make an Elder Sylvan. This always meant moon. Then we'll have Middle Sylvan. I will set. let's say that when we do this, like it is computed with the, let's say that it was still an autotroph in Middle Sylvan. So it's still basically, how am I going to do that? Still looked like this in Middle Sylvan. Still meant moon. But then when we get to the new dialects, we get that, and we'll just put it in dawn and dusk. And so dawn is Bilshipje. Bilshipje. And noun class 6, right? Moon. And we get, wait, what am I doing? I was going to go with Nupa. Why did I, silliness. Okay, let me go and fix that. Ngupathy. Let's see, what does that look like? Ngupathy. Okay, interesting. So why am I doing that? I'm so silly. So no, I want this. Silliness. Ngupa. Gufo. Gufoshipje. Gufoshipje. And grab that. Get the paradigm. Hey. Okay. What? What? What just happened? Why? Oh. What is that? Okay, I'll hold off on dealing with the paradigms until I figure out why this is showing up. This velar. Okay, trace changes. I want to see where that happens and see why. Why you would ever get. Okay, you get it very early on. Oh. Okay. Okay, so um this so a palatalized velar that doesn't make any sense anyway. Do we get that here? No, this ends up being fine. Okay, so Mufashipsha. We don't have because of the nasals end up looking different. The nasals become fricatives here. Fier- fier- Fira. So, because the nasal is becoming approximate, then we're ending up with this weird velar. I think I'm going to add a rule. So, where does that happen? So, this is in the lenition rule? No. So, the initial lenition rule doesn't happen. It's nasal fricative gliding is causing that to happen. So we go to nasal fricative gliding. So let me I want to look at the docs. Cleanup rules. So I'm actually going to. So we're going to make this a proper cleanup rule, and then what we're going to do is I think that we have enough glides in this language. I don't want to have just a velar glide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the velar glide go to W in intermediately. So glide rounding, and I should be. So how is this defined here? So if we have all our glides here, as if it's not tongue height, then we add labial. Okay. It's consonantal sonorant. Are these are not sonorant. F for sonorant. Yeah, only the glides are tagged as sonorant, so that's fine. Okay. And do I have this in my consonants? Let me make sure I have it in my consonants somewhere so that I can reference it that way. I do not. Okay. Once again, Dawn has a new version because of weird things happening. So I'm gonna, yeah. That's not tongue height. Oh, we need that ampersand there. And then becomes plus labial. And that should turn that. That should turn that into a W. And then we got Y. And then we get nu for she. Yeah, nu she fuiwa. Okay, that's good. I don't. Okay, I think that's good. What is this? What? Oh. Okay. Now we need to make sure that this does not target L. There we go. I'm glad that I had that up so that I could tell that that was a problem. Wolf for sheep J. Okay. And then get that. Why is it not? Yeah. Foi cha. New foi cha. And let's say that. Let's do something fun here. Get the correct pronunciation. Gufoshiche. And then we go to the dusk. And dusk is Gufashipja. Gufashipja. And it is, and then we'll go here, copy all that stuff. Okay, good. Just testing to see if I could hear their thing. Okay, so we're going to say that they made different choices as to the NFC of the moon. So this one, the Dawn chose the locative. We get Ngufo Shifwija Viwa. Ngua Shifwiwa. Shifwiwa. Yeah. And then we get here, instead of Ngua Fashifira, we get Ngu Fashifi. Let's see. Delete row. We get Ngu Fashifiri Yihu. Ngu Fash. Okay. I'm probably going to find a way to shorten that a little bit. Now, let's jump in. Let's try to get this. So we have a word for moon. Now we need waxing moon, waning moon, full moon. Yeah. Before we get that, really need this. I really need this. And I think what we're going to have is we're going to have the tongue of the waxing moon, the tongue of the waning moon. Why don't we just say that this term for these, it's only going to be for these four, actually. We're going to take this. We're going to take this his nufa. So it's so nupathy. Nufa. And then if we have Ngu Fa, and we add our that? Risnufau. And it would, yeah. Yeah. Wait a minute. I need to, wait. Do I have that right? I have the tone, the compromise tone. So what does day, what tone, day does the low tone. So low tone is a compromise. Risnufau. And then, so we have moon, which is this or this. Ngufashi Ngufashipche or Ngufashipcha. Let's focus on waxing and waning because we're focusing on these two. I think we will delete this S. Wait. Okay. I'm going to actually so the deal is I need to start recording Luxembourg stuff real soon in order to get that stuff ready. So I think we are coming up on time. I'm going to come up with these actual names on my own so I can get this recorded. Well, you know what? No. I just mainly need this. I'm going to work a little bit on this and make it a little bit let's spend our last few minutes on this word. This is a hero word. I want it to be good. So if so he's so here's the thing is this would become a W, whereas in the other one it would become a Heath. Heath. So with that, let's do a quick check. I think it's so it would be it's if we go to possessive classifiers, and let's see. Okay. So we would still eat. And how does what does this turn into here? You say wufu, wufu. So let's actually. Where is this? So we have. Okay. Hey, why are you... What's this invisible barrier? This should not be a table. Why are you... How do I convert this table to a text? Convert to text. Yeah. It doesn't matter. I'm going to delete it anyway. Heath woofu. Okay. Okay. Here's what I... Yeah. Okay. So it's going to end up... Heath woofu. Heath woofu. Heath woofu. Heath woofu. Okay. Okay. Moon languages becomes Hiswufu. Hisewufu in dawn and Hiswufu in dusk. Yeah, I think that's right. I think what happened is, okay. So Dawn cannot pronounce this th. It becomes right. Hiswufu, and also this is very difficult to hear. So they'll just attach this labialization to this, and we get Hiswufu. 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 There's our word. Hiswufu. 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 So these are the different dialects of the four quarts, and they're called Hiswufu, moon languages, moon tongues. They might be mad about this because they might associate with themselves with the sun, and I will, whichever way I go with, either I'm going to on my own come up with words for waxing and waning, and get the names for these, or I will just I will come back on, I come back and do it. But this will have, language of the waxing moon. So it'd probably end up being something like uh so dawn is the waning moon, language of the waning moon. And then, so it would end up being something like, so, and it's the, now I'm realizing what I've done to myself is I have to deal with wolf of Piget. I have to. I'm having to start dealing with my um, um, waning, and this. Uh, I am learning something here. Let's go with the dusk. And then what's the word for noon? Moon. This changes to these are the initial constant mutations, which was always part of the plan. Right? And then we add our word for waxing, which I will come up with. So we'd have that's a draft. We'll consider how it like collapses into something later. I also need to decide whether I want to use a preposition there or just make it like compounded. Um, so that's it for today. We almost got all our goals done today. And we will come back to it next week. Next week, I think we'll probably. I'll see what I can do for next week. I'm preparing for Luxembourg already, but that's behind the scenes. But we might actually do, in the spirit of that, a bunch of coining words to give us some base vocabulary and actually fulfill my promise of getting people's names in. So we'll see about that. Okay. Anyway, have a great day. Thank you for watching and happy conlaying.